Charisma is derived from a Greek word meaning an ability to elicit favor in other people. It's a magnetic quality of personality that people respond to as if it were magic.
Now, when you get good at that, you can reduce the amount of time that you stay there to next to nothing. But it starts with recognizing that there is an impermanence to pain, and it's critical to focus on that.
It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
How are you going to separate yourself from everybody else? You keep going, and then after that you keep going. It's not always making the last shot. He's under pressure doing what you're supposed to do. And coming out successful, Kobe and Jordan were my heroes. Every single match I didn't care who I was playing, they're in trouble before they even lace it up. They always see us doing the easy part. Hold the trophy and kiss it. And that's what everybody sees. They don't see the day where you do not feel like going to the gym at all.
Charisma is almost like a magic wand that confers power over others. But character has a very different origin. Character comes from a Greek word meaning chisel, or the mark left by a chisel. And of course, a chisel is a sharp steel tool used for making a sculpture out of a hard or difficult material like granite or marble. And a chisel is also used for stripping away waste material from an object, stripping away stuff that might get in the way in order to get down to the essential thing, the thing that really matters. You've got to chisel your character out of the raw material of yourself, just like a sculptor.
And then the last thing I remind myself is, I can always get better. I will learn from this and move on. Sometimes I worry if I self-soothe, I might overstep and become too complacent with my mistakes and don't actually learn from them, for numbing that pain or discomfort that could lead me to grow. How do you self-soothe without comforting yourself to the point of losing your drive? What a brilliant question. This is so smart. All right, this is what I call the advanced class. We are now in the advanced class. This is some nuanced shit. You've got to be able to hold two competing ideas in your head. All right, so critical life lesson number one was realizing this too shall pass, and that there is joy in that impermanence.
Has to create a statue. The raw material is always there. Everything that happens to you, good or bad, is an opportunity for building your character. Let me point out another important distinction between character and charisma. You may have noticed it already. In both its definition and its derivation, character doesn't refer to other people. It doesn't refer to having power over other people or getting other people to follow you or gaining favor with other people. Character is something that you have and that you are. You could be marooned on a desert island and your character would still be important. In fact, it would likely be very important in that situation. But charisma wouldn't do you any good at all. Charisma requires the presence of others, while character is all about you.
Then critical lesson number two is that I'm holding two competing ideas in my head, and that is critically important. Important idea number one. It's good to feel the pain. I need that, because that's going to give me the motivation that I need, as you so aptly point out, to actually do something about it. Okay? Part of the reason that mistakes, failure, is the most information-rich data stream you will ever encounter is because when you fail, you feel pain, and pain triggers areas of the brain around memory and focus. So now I'm really looking at this thing, and I'm committing it to memory. Now, as long as I'm not pointing all my fingers at other people, all these people, the world, society, whatever, culture, is victimizing me. Okay, if I don't do that, and instead, two thumbs pointed right back at this guy, then I'm reminded, oh yeah, I'm in control.
You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you had. I started speaking just to elementary school kids because I knew they didn't know what I was talking about. And they gave me all kind of standing ovation. We like you, yeah. Then I graduated up to junior high school and then to senior high school and then to various community groups and church groups and civic associations and then to colleges and to businesses. Now I'm traveling across the country and then traveling nationally and internationally.
I do not nobody can talk me into it even. Yourself, you're telling yourself, no, I'm too tired. I'm achy, there's no way I can make it. You gotta go, you know you have to stick to what you said you were gonna do. You're gonna get knocked down over and over and over, and even when you feel like, no, I can't be hit this hard, or if you're down there thinking it's, no way I can get up from this. That's when you're just starting, keep going, and then after that you keep going.
Be addicted to bettering yourself. When you think about some of the great athletes in so many sports, and I think the perfect examples, I think for me, it's because I love basketball. You think about a lot of these kids, they go from high school to the pros. And obviously that's not the case now. You have to go 1 year. But just think about the kids that go from high school to the pros. You think about your Kevin Garnett. You think about your Kobe Bryants, your LeBron James, Michael Jordan. He's one of the greatest. He didn't go from high school to the pros, but he's considered, obviously the greatest of all time. But when you think about what Michael Jordan did as setting the blueprint, especially for a guy like Kobe, who was at that point when he was alive, he was a living carbon copy of one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
It's about what we do, it's about how we handle the situation. It's not about what happens to us, because things are going to happen. How are you going to separate yourself from everybody else? And I always thought anytime it got really incredibly hard, I would think about all the people quitting right now and how they're going to feel in a few years, that they're just going to say, man, what if I hadn't have given up? What if I would have kept going? Don't say what if, please, 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 please. Don't have the what ifs down the road.
But I never would have discovered what I'm able to do right now if I wasn't willing to take a chance. You've got to be willing to do that. You've got to believe in yourself. A lot of people love me to tell this story. When I got out of school, my first major goal was to buy my mother a home, and my hero in broadcasting was Paul Harvey, and I wanted to become involved in broadcasting, and I loved the disc jockeys that were on the air, and I wanted to become a disc jockey. See, so I started working to develop my communication skills and expand my vocabulary. I started visualizing myself being a disc jockey. I saw myself on the air having a talk show and playing records and people listening to me. That was my vision. That was my dream. I held that in mind constantly, and I would practice all the time. Practice makes what? Absolutely not. Just dislodge that from your mind. Practice only makes improvement. Perfection doesn't exist. You need to take it out of the dictionary. It doesn't exist. Practice only makes improvement. You can always better your best. You have not done your best work yet.
You think about what LeBron has done. He lived up to the expectations, lived up to the potential in which a lot of scouts and owners and GMs pegged him as. And so that's why you look at Steph Curry. That's why you see these guys, they enhance upon their abilities and their potential. When you look at scouts and how they grade or evaluate talent, sometimes these scouts are way off base. If you go back and look at some of the scouting reports of a guy like Steph Curry, who's small frame, another guy, Kevin Durant, they said these guys were not going to make it in the league. It was going to be tough. But these are some of the guys that they're lighting it up every night, making it to beyond the expectations of the playoffs, getting to the finals. Look at what Kevin Durant has done, even after the Achilles injury. Not to mention, one of the greatest, basketball players, in LeBron James. Look at what Michael Jordan did.
You keep going now, and I'm telling you, you'll be in a better place than you would be if you quit. If you want to be greater man, prepare to get up off that mat, the aspirations, the dreams of what it takes, the commitment to hard work, but more importantly, how many lumps you've got to take. That's when your survival skills have to kick in, and hopefully you've trained enough in your mental preparation and really believe enough in yourself to get up, because you know everybody.
you.